Morning, everybody. I think today I can get ready to hit the gym and do episode number 5 of why I went to prison for 5 years and 3 months. It's been a little while, about 3 weeks. You know, with everything going on, I just want to today get down to Malden and Everett and do some photos of where I actually used to live. My peach shirt today. It really washes me out, but let's hit the gym. Bye. I'll see you later. Bye.
Can't help the way that I'm feeling when I'm with you. You are weighing me down, 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 down. Can't help the rhythm is my.
Hello, everybody. It's Mike the Baldadonis. 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 Boom! 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 Part 5. Number 5, everybody, of why I went to prison for 5 years, 3 months. All right, so look back on 1, 2, 3, 4 and catch up to number 5. Let's see. Last episode, I talked about how I broke my leg in a motorcycle accident and I was looking at 10 years mandatory sentence for a first-time drug offense. And now I get to my parents' house, they're taking care of me, broken leg, and I'm in a heap of trouble. So what happens? Well, I'm at the house, you know, and I'm still doing my thing. I'm at my parents' house, and I would have my friends and family. Well, not my family, but I had my friends that used to buy my drugs off me. They would come to the house, hang out, and my dad would catch on eventually because he worked second shift. You know, it's difficult for someone to be a parent and knowing that their kids sell drugs, they're looking at 10 years in prison and they're taking care of them, you know. But while I was doing physical therapy one day, he went through, I had like a sachet or whatever you want to call it, like a I had something like this, a briefcase type of thing. And I had all my paperwork for court. I had all my paperwork for the hospital. And I had my drugs inside. So my dad went through my stuff. And he found my drugs. And he just said, you know what, Mike? You know, I can't stop you from doing this, so you have to leave. He ended up kicking me out of the house, which I don't blame him. You know, I was manageable. I was able to hobble around, and that's what I did. I was on crutches and decided to get into a walking cast and all that type of stuff. So as he kicked me out of the house, a friend of mine lived 2 streets down. His name was Paul. Now, you guys already know I talked about my friend Pat, who lived around the corner, that he used to take his Jeep, use his other cars and stuff like that. He's the one that, he's the guy that inadvertently set me up through some kid to, he was looking at a bunch of prison time himself, and he would end up being a snitch. And next thing you know, he's asking my friend Pat if he knew anybody. My friend Pat gets in touch with me. I fall for the bait because I'm 21 years old and I'm a fucking moron. So I end up meeting an undercover cop, and I get busted. and I'm looking at 10 years in prison. So I have my friend Paul lives 2 streets away, literally right down the street. He has a 2-family home. He lived upstairs, his dad, his sister, and he had the first floor apartment available. I forget what I was paying for it. This is back in 1991. And it could have been expensive, maybe $700 a month. I forget, to be honest with you. But anyways, I'm hanging out at his place, and I'm paying rent, and I get myself, some furniture and all that stuff, a bed, and and I'm doing my thing. I'm still selling drugs. So I told you guys I forget which episode, but I used to have a limousine driver. He would just come and pick me up. Well, I would hire him. He knew who I was, and he knew where all my clients were as well, because he let me run drugs out of the limo. You know what I mean? I was just driving all over the place, and I'd be like, "Yep, go here, go there." He knew all my stops. So one day, I let a friend use my apartment. He's like, "Hey, Mike, if you're going out, do you mind if me and my friends use your apartment for a party?" I was like, "Yeah, no problem." I knew the kid for a short time. His name was Vinny. He was from Medford, Mass. He was a small little weaselly type of kid. He had the little hair with the little tiny ponytail. He had one eye crossed with the other. He looked like a little weasel. But, his parents had not a lot of money, but for back in 1991, he had a brand new IROC convertible. And those things were pretty expensive. He let me use his car quite often. As a matter of fact, I bought his 77 Z28 that you're going to see in the picture that actually was purple. Back then, everybody was doing purple, pinks, and odd colors, and if it was stainless steel bumpers, you would paint those as well to match the paint. So that was the trend then, and then I would paint my car and all that stuff. So anyways, I let him use my apartment. I was out in the limousine that night. I don't know where I was. I think I went back. I don't know where the hell I was, to be honest with you, because I know at 10 o'clock in the morning, when I rolled up to my apartment, the windows were wide open, and the door was open. I was like, what the hell just happened? You know what I mean? So I call him up, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know." I was like, "Buddy, my house got busted into, my money's gone, and my drugs are gone. I gave you the responsibility for you and your friends to hang out at my apartment. Now, obviously, with a broken leg, I can't do too much about my situation. I'm, hobbling around on crutches. So, yeah, I got robbed on that one, and that was just one instance that happened to me. Second one was still at the same apartment. My buddy Paul, who lived upstairs, he would party with me. Now his sister's starting to grow up, and she has her friends, and one particular girl, she was beautiful, beautiful girl, blonde. It was the type of girl that you never think you can get with. But, well, she liked to do cocaine. Who knew? I didn't know. Until she's come over to my house, and, her name was Lisa. Yeah, her name was Lisa. She had a gorgeous smile, too. But to find out she was like a little coke whore, a little pig. And I had her hang around a little bit. Once or twice, but something was up with that girl, because she was hanging out with this kid Dominic, and I recall this kid. I grew up with this kid, well, in the city, anyways. I knew who he was, and at a young age too, he was a juice head. doing steroids. He was a big, big kid. You know, maybe if I looked at him today, I wouldn't think so, but back then, he was a good-sized kid. And I think she set me up for him to break into my house as well when I was at home. So I got broken into a couple times. I actually ended up getting an alarm system. A friend of mine hooked up my whole place. You know, you can hear that alarm system, you know, 2 streets over. So I recall even the house being kicked in again. Somebody else, I don't know who it was, but somebody kicked in the door or something, and the alarm went off. And obviously they didn't take anything this time. But I was like, you know, I'm living a little dangerously here, you know. Everybody wants to steal my shit, so because they know I'm in a situation, you know, I'm all messed up. So there was a police officer in Everett, Mass. His best friend happened to live right across the street from where I'm living. And this cop was one of those dickheads, you know what I mean? We call him Scarface because he got a scar on his face. Somebody sliced him in the face. He was a tough cop, you know. You knew when he was trouncing around, you want to hide, you know what I mean? One of those type of cops. But one time I got pulled over, and I said this in one of my episodes. I got pulled over using my friend's ID, but because I had somebody that worked at the Massachusetts registry, she was able to put my face on his ID. Now, that police officer knows who I am. Everybody in Everett knows who I am, especially the police department. I already got bagged. You know, I'm just waiting to go to court and get my sentence. You know, I already went to court a couple of times. So the cops know who I am. They know what's going on. Driving in Everett, I was getting pulled over. So I had this one instant. I drove down the street from this house, and that cop that was hanging out across the street at his buddy's house ends up pulling me over. Pulls me over. He says, so when did you change your name? I was like, you know, I'm bagged. I got busted, right? He's like, whatever, right? So he arrests me for not having a license, all that stuff, and they get me for a known alias, AKA. So they dragged me in, they towed my car. I had drugs in the car, but back in the day, we used to have what they call safes that look like soda cans, a battery, you know, household items. You simply unscrew the bottom or the top, and it was empty. So I used to use Coca-Cola cans. Take the top off. It weighed, had some glass in there, so it had like some heaviness to it. You know, put my stuff in there, and I toss it right in the back seat along with like a water bottle, a juice bottle, just to mix it up. So he's going through my car because he knows, you know, I'm riding dirty. You know what I'm saying? So he's tearing my car. He don't see anything. He don't find nothing. He still tows the car. I go to the Everett Police Department. I get arrested. Now I get my fucking leg all a mess. He wants to do a strip search on me. I'm like, really? He strip searches me, take off all my clothes in front of fucking everybody. And they actually found one pill. I think it was a Valium or something to help me, you know, calm down or with my pain. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but I do recall it was one pill. I was like, dude, I got a broken leg. It's for fucking pain, you know what I mean? So I didn't have a prescription, so he took it away from me anyways. So I had to go to court for that. We'll get to that in a little bit. Now, because I'm hot in Everett, I have to have my friend. At the time, he was my best friend. His name was Chris. He used to have to drive my car. One day, we're driving down the street. Boom. Fucking like cops everywhere pull us over. They thought I was driving. Not this time. I'm in the passenger seat. They're trying to pick my car apart. Back then, I had an exhaust system, and it was super trap mufflers. These big 4.5-inch exhaust system pipes that were baffles. You'd see them on motorcycles, and they were starting to become popular with the muscle cars as well. So you can adjust the sound and the back pressure of your mufflers and your exhaust system. So I really did like the super traps on my car. It just looked unique, but they did stick out quite, like, you know, a decent amount from the bumper, so they're trying to give me a hard time for that. After 15, 20 minutes, you know, they couldn't do nothing, so they let us go. And that was the time I was like, you know what? I gotta move out of Everett. And I moved next door to Malden. You know what I mean? Somewhere that I wasn't being followed all the time. I probably was. It was just, you know, I'm driving around in a pink Camaro that turned colors. Back then, it was a flip-flop pearl. It was a purple, pink, turned into blue with different lights. It was quite unique. Very expensive at the time, but, you know, that's what I did. So, me and my friend Chris, we moved in together, and we lived up in this apartment in Malden, Mass. It was just an attic apartment, which served us perfect. Small living room, his bedroom, my bedroom, and a small kitchen area with a bathroom right next to it. That also had an alarm. I put an alarm in that as soon as possible. But being on the 3rd floor, I was less likely to get breaking into. The girls on the 1st floor, they were cool. Unfortunately, the people on the 2nd floor, because we're 21 years old, partying all night, people in and out, they didn't last too long, they didn't like us, and it was an uncomfortable situation, but I felt bad because they had a baby and all that stuff. But yeah, so we hung out at a new place. One day, my buddy asked me to borrow my Camaro. I'm like, yeah, go ahead. You know when sometimes you just don't want your friends to drive your car or borrow anything? Because he likes to smoke weed. He went out, did something, I don't know what he was doing, either doing an errand to sell drugs, you know, he liked to sell weed. Got a phone call. He racked my Camaro right into a telephone pole. Got on it, smoked up the tires, went sideways, boom, wrecked my whole car. Those same cops that pulled us over in Everett happened to be in Everett. Come by, saw that my car was damaged, they were laughing at him. I was like, damn, man, what are you doing to me? So I ended up buying a 70 SS Camaro and swapping all the parts in there, and I was like, take your time, because now I got a truck. I got I think I had 3 cars. What else did I have? I had a truck, the Camaro. I'm not sure if I had 3 cars at that time, but I was dating my ex-girlfriend, the one that she left me while I was in Nashua Street, waiting to get out. One day we went out for lunch, me, her, and my friend Chris, in my Camaro, and no, it was later than that. So I was with the girl, no, wait a minute. No. Okay, so he didn't wreck the car just quite yet. What happened was I sent the car in. It was still purple, and I changed it over to that pinkish red flip-flop paint that you're going to see in the picture. So I had that for quite a while, because my girlfriend, when I got back together with her, she was using that car. And you know what's funny about people? If they know you're doing pretty good, they want to latch on a little bit. You know, I was still running, I'm still busy. I was still quite busy. I was running around quite a lot. You know, business did not slow down, that's for sure. And I went to court one day. I had to go to court for the drug offense, and two things were going to happen. My lawyer said, we go for trial, it's another $5,000. So far I've given him $10,000. Another $5,000 to go into trial. Or we can plead guilty, you can do 5 years mandatory. Now, to fight an entrapment is almost impossible. It really is. You know, and the people that got set up before from that same kid, there were 6 of us. A few of them went to trial and did 10 years. So I was immediately said 5 years, I'll take the plea, thank you. So I'm still doing physical therapy. I had a note from him, but the court said, as soon as you're done with physical therapy, you're in. So we set up a date. I do not recall the date, to be honest with you, but something happened. After dating this girl, you know, things were, I'm not going to say things were good, I'm going to jail, but my relationship with her was great because I loved that girl. I wanted to be with that girl. And I ended up getting her an engagement ring, which everybody, don't ever do this. Ever, ever, ever. Don't buy a girl an engagement ring. Don't give them nothing. If you're going to jail, save your money. You need it for canteen. Don't ever get them anything. Never, 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 never. Learn from me. Put your money away. Never spend your money on a girl. Not saying not to spend the money on the girl, but don't invest in a ring. That's for sure. You're doing 5 years. You're 21 years old. I was 22 when I went in. There's no reason for you to buy a ring and hope and that she's going to be waiting for you, because it ain't going to happen. So I'll have stories on that. But yeah, so for a full year, I lived at the other apartment with my friend, broken into quite a few times. The Evercops up my ass, always following me. So I get to Malden, and you know, I can still feel some heat, you know what I mean? I'm always thinking I'm being followed, you know what I mean? Because I'm taking the risk. When I drove in Malden, instead of my friend Chris, you know, matter of fact, I got pulled over by a state trooper. I went into the town line to see if my buddy was there. I just happened to drive in and drove out. I got pulled over just like that and got searched. So I was probably being followed, and the state trooper pulled me over to see what I was doing. Now, while I was hanging out with my girlfriend, she'd come to my house, you know, things were good, like I said. But when they know you're doing good, you know, here's some money, honey, here's some money, honey. It was all about the money. That's what I'm thinking. You know, she had no problem taking my money. I think that's the only reason why she got with me, to be honest with you. I don't think she was that into me, even though I like to think she was. You know, because I chased her. I chased her so much when I first met her. We hung out, we dated for a little bit. She broke up with me. I moved to Arizona. I come back. She saw me doing well. You know, got back to me. I go to jail. She leaves me. I get bailed out. I get into my motorcycle accident. I don't see her. And then I'm healing. I'm, you know, in a walking cast. I'm doing a little bit better. I'm able to walk with a walking cast. And then she's back in my life. You know, it just seems like that's the way she rolled with me. And, you know, I give her an engagement ring and all that good stuff. And, you know, just like an idiot. But remember I told you guys I got pulled over in Everett and got strip searched? For some reason, I went to court on that. I'm going to jail in 2 weeks. I do know that for a fact. I had 2 more weeks to go, but I wanted to go to court for some reason. I think because I was sentenced already to do the 5 years, that this was gonna be nothing. So I went in that courtroom in Malden, Mass, Malden District Court, thinking nothing, you know? So let's see. All those years of driving without a license, attaching plates, unregistered, uninsured, speeding, reckless driving. I got into the motorcycle accident, attaching plates on that, false ID, you know, using a known alias. So, you know, I had a lot of charges against me. And when I went into that courtroom, there was every cop that had pulled me over in the past 2 years or 3 years or whatever it was. The court was packed with all different cops, all different MDC, state troopers, you know, Malden, Everett, Saugus. I was like, damn, everybody was here. I was like, you know, you step into something, you're like, what's going on? It wasn't your, you know, pre-trial for something like that. They locked me up that day and took my freedom right there and then. They're like, I'm like, what's going on? I mean, I didn't even have a lawyer. I didn't even have my lawyer. And they were like, you ain't going nowhere. I was like, damn. They took me in 2 weeks before I was supposed to go and do my 5 years in state prison. So I end up going to Berka. Okay, so that was weird. I ran out of film on my camera. So like I said, I was in Malden, Mass. I went into the courtroom. State police, Malden police, Everett police, Saugus police. I think even the MDC at the time, they were there. I had cops all over the place, and they wanted me in prison right there and then. I said to the judge, I'm like, Judge, you know, I wasn't expecting none of this. And he gave me 2 hours to get my shit together and get back to court. But they wouldn't let me go. I'm like, you know, they just tossed me right in with. So that threw me for a loop. I didn't see my girlfriend. I didn't see my buddy. They just took me in. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So that's where I stayed, because they gave me 6 months on that jail time. So that got all included, broke it down to 3 months. So I had to do 3 months of county jail time with my 5 years of state prison. So therefore, that's why you hear me say 5 years, 3 months. And then while I was there for the 2 weeks, but we'll get to the prison talk in all those episodes in the next following videos, and then in the next coming weeks. So I want to thank everybody for checking out my videos. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thanks for liking. Thanks for giving me grief. Tell me I'm an idiot, because I already know that. But it's my story, not yours. So for people that are giving me shit about it, hey, whatever. This is my life, and I'm just sharing my life experiences. So until the next video, everybody, Baldadonis out. Hey guys, just a quick few minutes on this ending. Yeah, you know, back then, you know, trying to do all these stories, I don't talk to Chris anymore. I don't talk to Paul anymore. I don't talk to Pat no more. I don't talk to the ex-girlfriend no more, Maria. So there's a lot of things that I could have had a conversation with these people, and to, you know, get better stories, and you know, just maybe even more things to tell you guys. But yeah, that was a very overwhelming, stressful situation that I had going on there. You know, I'm going to prison. I just broke my leg, so all the appointments and, you know, freaking out. I had a lot of anxiety. but I was, you know, with the girlfriend, I was happy to be with her, even though I think it was being used. You know, I was a total mess. So forgive me for all the details that I did miss, because there was so much stuff going on in that year. I mean, I was being followed all over the place. I got broken into all the time. You know, I'm driving around without a license. I'm getting pulled over all the time. I'm just, you know, just being a friggin' hot mess, you know? And that's the way it was, you know, for me at that time. So I also want to show you how long these videos take me to make. I was doing this particular one last night. This should have been up last night, this video. But 6 hours later, it takes me sometimes 6 hours to edit a video, because I like to put all kinds of things in there. You guys don't probably even realize that I'm putting in there. But, you know, there's the soundtracks, there's overlaying, there's filters, there's, you know, cutting everything, and just so much going on. And I'm loving it. It's just time consuming. So last night at 3 o'clock in the morning, I was almost done to package it all up, and Filmora froze on me. This is like the second or third time. It's like you're at editing, processing thing going on here, and you can't edit my stuff because I'm overwhelming you. Like, what's going on? So, you know, last night I got really frustrated with it, but it's 8:45 at the moment. Quarter of 9. I'm exhausted, and I wanted to get this video up to you guys. Yeah, it's just, it's time consuming. I love it, I'm learning, but here's what I'm gonna show you what it really looks like. All right, let's see. Okay, so I messed that up. I couldn't turn my phone around, but here we go, guys. This is what it looks like for me to do all this. As you can see, there's all the little things that I gotta put in one folder, second folder, all my images, all the videos. You know, I got several videos going on. What else? So you get your music. I gotta download my own music. I have Epic Sound. I can use music from Filmora, or I can use YouTube music. And then you have overlays. I'm sorry, what is this? Transactions, overlays, filters, you know, it goes on and on and on. You could put a million things into this. That's why it takes so long to edit, because you have so many things you can do. You know, it's just endless. And you just keep playing with it until you find what works for you, and hopefully you make a decent video. You know, I know my videos are kind of awful at the moment, but I am getting there. I have graduated from a PC to an iMac, and from just using my cell phone. So guys, thank you very much, and I will see you on the next video. Baldadonis out.